Hey guys, this is Mark from Periphery, and this entry we're going to talk a little bit about using half-step intervals and whole-step intervals to create dissonance in chords and licks. It's something that I like to employ a lot to create this sort of tension in chords and tension in licks. You hear a lot of the time these notes sort of clashing against each other, which is a very desired quality if done right on our part. So there's a chord that I get asked about a lot on the song Omega, the long song on the second album we just put out, Juggernaut Omega. So the chord that I get asked about in the song Omega goes like this. I'll go ahead and play each individual note. That's pretty much the ugliest chord you can imagine because of all the half-step and whole-step intervals within the chord. But again, like I said, it's very deliberate to create that tension and that conflict within the chord. So here you have a half-step interval with these two notes. You have another half-step interval in the following two notes. And then you have another half-step interval here. Next two notes, guess what? More half-step intervals. And then finally a whole step just to make it happy. It's a pretty messy chord, but we applied it in a context in which we really wanted a sort of disastrous, ugly sounding chord. So the chord that I just outlined for you is the main chord in that riff that sort of kicks off the whole riff. And you're palm muting on these lower strings to get that really dissonant sound. And then you let the chords ring out to finish off the chugging section. And the next lick that splits up that chord and the following chord sort of follows the same rule as what I was talking about with the whole step and half step intervals. It creates a lot of tension if you mash together those intervals in a small space. So you take the lick, so I'll play it for you real quick. And slow, that's it's really ugly and uncharming and just, yeah, kind of a not a pretty chord. But again, it sort of followed the same suit. Stack a bunch of notes that have tension with each other, and if you make it sound intentional and you play it with confidence and you apply it in the right context, it sounds like it was done on purpose. So again, there's another fill that leads to the next chord, which goes. And then here's the following chord. And that's another ugly one. So this chord's arguably uglier than the one that came before it for kind of the same reasons. A lot of the half-step and whole-step intervals. And this chord actually features three of the same exact notes right near each other. So you have a very drony quality, which again is cool to rely on at times that you feel like you need it. So very drony. And so after that chord, there's another fill that leads into the end of the riff. And that fill references the fill that came before it. So remember that stretchy one that I did a little bit earlier. This is basically a repositioned version of that with slightly different relationships between the notes. And this is what this is all about, is finding relationships between the notes that speak to you. And this speaks ugly and dissonant to me. So that lick goes like this. And slow, that's played. And again, it just sounds kind of like nonsense, but if played confidently, it's going to sound good.